Hey y'all, you're listening to Diagnosing Sitcoms and Movies, the DSM podcast. We help make mental health more comfortable by using Black movies and shows we know and love and culture to remove stigma. So join our convo with your host, Courtney Copeland, licensed mental health counselor,
and Dr. B, licensed professional counselor.
What's poppin', y'all? This episode, we have a very special guest joining us. We have Giselle Johnson, a licensed clinical social worker, a wellness expert, a fitness enthusiast, and fellow podcaster. Welcome, Giselle.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's excited to be on the show. I'm excited.
Yes. I think I should just invest in like one of those little switchboards that have the different sounds.
Push the button.
Yeah, I should grow up.
Well, do you recall on our Proud Family episode where you had the poppy laugh on demand?
I'm gonna grow up. I'm gonna do that again. Let me write that down so I can remember. Can't because I'm gonna.
Well, that's okay. It's on recording. So this episode, guys, we are talking about the 2000 drama Holiday Heart, which was directed by the icon, Robert Townsend. And surprisingly, I did not know it was based off a book. Is that true?
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I also didn't pay attention to this being a Robert Townsend production. Yeah.
Get into it.
Yeah, that makes it even better for me.
Right? We're such groupies. We have our favorites. We make them known.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, we do.
And so first, Giselle, this movie came by recommendation of you. And so is this a film that you just loved or you felt like it would be of good clinical significance? What made you choose this film for us to diagnose today?
Yeah, so I remember watching it like way back. And it stuck out to me, just some different pieces that we'll probably talk about later, like in the show. But what stuck out to me is just like the dynamic of unconditional love, but like also the pain through love. And like, I was like, oh my goodness, like this is so many people's story, but they don't tell it because it's just like everybody has this idea of what family should be and what love should look like. And oftentimes it looks different. So there's different pieces in this movie that stuck out to me that I was like, this would be a good one because not a lot of people talk about, the two-parented home, the one-parented single mother home and that love, but nobody talks about a village raising children and, the dynamics that come with that and why a village is raising a child. So that's what stuck out to me. And also it resonated with some pieces of my childhood.
Yes, village.
Yes. I love that.
So one of my favorite quotes from this film was when Blue was like, Holiday, don't go with her. She might have an Uzi.
Holiday, what you do? Miss Holiday, get back over here, girl. She might have an Uzi.
Why would this
girl?
Uzi. Of all weapons, she has an Uzi.
Blue was a trip. I love me some Blue.
But you got to keep the girl safe. You never know what's going on out here in these streets. And so be careful, Holiday. She might have an Uzi.
Okay. Yes, we all need a friend like Blue to just warn us. That's not a good decision. We don't know everything about this right here. But I'm glad Holiday went, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad. So, random. I know we have quotes and things and stuff.
Oh, gosh.
But
there's a format to the show. Okay.
I understand. Hear me out, because we're on that scene. This is Halloween, right? Because he did take out that switchblade and say trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
There's no reason for Blue to be outside dressed up like.
They went through multiple holidays. I know they went through Christmas.
They did. Did they do Christmas twice? So that was another thing, another conversation for later. The length of time that has passed by with them in Holidays' life. And this Paris trip, right? So it's 2 years. Am I counting 2 years?
It had to be 2 years because Nikki went to was she graduating middle school, going to high school?
Right. Like the timeline here is kind of.
I mean, I don't know if this is not making fun, but one of my quotes that I went back to that really stuck out was at one of the graduations, when Nikki read her poem and her mom was high and her mom came in there and like left out and she just is in the street yelling, "Bless him, bless him."
And I put my eyes to the sky.
Bless her. And it's just like, I know that's like, she was definitely under influence, but at the same time, it just stuck out like her foundation. Like that's what Nikki remembered. And it's just like, she even said like, even though she didn't know her mom was there, she still pointed her mom out in the poem and her favorite quote from her mom. And then for her mom to see that still be very, very under the influence and come out and just like, so I thought that was, it was one of my favorite quote, it was a part of one of my favorites because like she did the whole like foundational piece, like praising the Lord in the middle of the street.
Yeah. Why? Yes. That on so many occasions that was a little giggle for me. Like especially when what was LT? The one that got threatened with that pilot street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
LT. One of my favorite quotes is when she's doing her poetry, and they were young and firm and quick to part. But slow to learn. He's like, do you have anything with that's not talking about your body parts?
Yeah, Holiday was something else.
I love me some Holiday.
Yeah.
He said, I might be glad I'll show you my Sally right now. He said, your Sally? My sugar bowl.
I feel like that's actually a good shirt to have. My sugar bowl. If you know, you know. And that's that.
We really got to get our merch together.
Come on. I'm telling you, man. We are noted.
I like really enjoyed the relationship, the familial relationship that was built between Silas and Holiday. And when they were about to get in the car, he said, "I've never been chauffeured."
Yeah.
You better get your ass in that car.
I've never been properly chauffeured. Man, you better get your ass in the car. Oh, no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Anybody playing with you? Get in the car.
Okay. And that was the most interesting part, like seeing that connection come together. And especially for the end. And I was so disappointed. I was like, what is the surprise for when they get back from Paris? Like, what are they going to do? What is it? But I'm just really excited. And it's kind of cute that it's like one is actually, in the LGBT and the other one was homophobic. And it's just like, now they're coming together to raise a beautiful child. And it's just so beautiful. But I really wanted to know what the surprise was at the end.
I saw a comment that I thought actually was a great idea. They were like, this would have worked well as a series. Like to continue to see Holiday and Nikki go through their trials and tribulations of her becoming a woman and what that looked like and navigating high school issues or their adventures in Paris and what that looked like and how Silas could continue to come in and out and how eventually whatever his storyline could be. I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. I wonder if there was ever a continuation in book form, because I just found out I'm today years old when I learned that it was a book.
Yes.
So clearly I didn't read it. So I'm wondering if there was ever any but also if there wasn't any closure from those storylines, we can provide that today and make it up on our own with our prognosis. There
we go. Because they were getting to it. They tried to with the pieces and stuff. Like when Nikki, invited a boy over and all of that. They were getting with it, like trying to show that those pieces of her growing up as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That no boy, that man.
Yeah, that man. Yeah, exactly. It was a man.
So I jumped a little bit once I realized like he did slap her. And what also was a little bit like of a cringe moment was realizing that she got slapped not once but twice in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Again, this is like this movie. I love to bring context to it. This was 2000. I was 10 years old. Just for the people who care. No one cares. And so in 2000, like how child rearing and punishment was very different than what it is now, of course. Mm-hmm. And so seeing that, I was like, oh, he hit her. I would hope that it would never get to a point where he would have to use, physical punishment as a way to reprimand her or to, course correct her. I think there was a lot of different ways that conversation could have been had. And I think that was also something that he had to deal with for himself. Like, because even when she was talking about getting married and having 5 kids, it was like, ain't nothing coming up out of you. It's just like, at least she said she was going to get married. There's nothing wrong with her wanting children. Like, right. So, that was a thing for me. Did that stand out to y'all, or am I just being sensitive?
No, I noticed that too. I mean, now that you bring it up, I did notice that. And I think for me, when I think about it, I think and two things came in my mind when also you just speaking about that. But one is her like with her mom doing it versus Holiday doing it. I think, and I know this might sound very odd, but it's a big role difference. She didn't respect her mom doing it, but she respected Holiday doing it. She loved Holiday, and she knew Holiday meant well for her. But like it goes back to what you were saying too. It'd be seen differently, like today versus like back in 2000. So
didn't seem that far along, but 25 years.
Oh yeah, exactly. So no, but I definitely agree with you. She did get slapped twice in this movie. And it was all from her telling the truth. She told her truth to her mom for sure. She did not mind telling her mom the truth.
And what is this glass dick in this briefcase? Because I just...
Yeah.
They're referring to the crack pipe.
Oh, yes. That's what they were saying. Yeah. That's how you knew she was hurt, though. She didn't care.
Yeah, she definitely held nothing back when it came. But it's also kind of like at a certain point, I think she just got accustomed to going through it. That it's just like, you know what? I'm not going to even put up a filter no more. You just going to get it like it is. Right. And you going to slap me, but okay.
Right.
At least you know how I feel.
No, she didn't care.
She didn't care.
I think the slap Holiday gave her shocked her, though.
It did.
Yeah.
I was shocked. And I saw it a couple times. I was like, baby.
Right.
It seemed like it shocked both of them, though, because even Holiday recoiled a little bit and then had to like come to and like, I'm immediately apologized. And then was like, wait a minute. No, I'm not. You're the one in the wrong here. Maybe there's other ways to go about it, but we're seeing Holiday kind of go through that process in that moment of like, okay, what style do I want to parent with? There still needs to be consequences. Maybe I don't want to hit, but like, you still owe me an apology. You was up here trying to freak in the bed in the other apartment when you said you was going to stay in.
Right. Oh, another place though, we noticed in the beginning, Holiday trying to parent is right before when Wanda moved in with Silas and they got into that argument and Holiday was hurt. Holiday was super hurt. And he said, we curse. So he was like, fuck you and your child. And Nikki was right there. And that cut Nikki. Like, she was like, and that cut me too, watching it. Cause like seeing her close that door, it was like, okay. And then you seen him have to like kind of creep around and like work his way back into Nikki's life.
Yeah.
Then even Nikki said after that, when Wanda was missing for 2 days, he said, why didn't you just come get me? I thought you was mad at me. Like last that we, you said that me and my mama and her child already did that. So But I think that is a great way for us to get into these diagnoses. Mm-hmm. And so who would you like to start with?
I mean, should we go with the heavy hitter? Like the obvious one in the room that is
I was
Miss Wanda.
Yeah, Wanda. She's the
I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but she's honestly the only. Everyone else has a Z code for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have, for obvious reasons.
Not for obvious reasons. Don't.
Opioid use disorder, pretty severe.
Severe, yes.
That's all I got.
Actually, it would be stimulant because she's on that crack cocaine.
She is.
Mm-hmm.
She is on the crack of cocaine.
What do you feel like differentiated? I think there are lots of examples, but what was the thing that made it, yes, severe thing? Because we see it where it is moderate, we see it where it is in partial remission, we see it when it is severe, and clearly with her last scene. And well, spoiler alert, if you listen to this, you should just go watch the movie. So when she get hit by the car, she clearly is in a space where she is severe and is seeking help in that moment. Mm-hmm. And so what for you kind of made you say severe?
I think it is in that moment, the use, the fact that she neglected her child, her parental duties. Mm-hmm. It was constant. The other sickening scene that was like so cringy, even
in
just
the crack house.
Yes, the infamous scene. I will say that is probably like the most uncomfortable scene in this movie is like her pretty much trying to trick off her child for her hit, for her come up. So that to me was like when you get to that level, severe. I don't know what else says severe. This is like the perfect example to show like, hey, like this has gotten to a point where we need to really get some help. Like the way she looked, her, like, when we do our mental health status exam and we talk about appearance, like, most times when students are putting that in, it's like, I don't want to have to do appearance, but appearance says so much that a person may not express, right? And so how she looked when she was went to talk to Holiday, that last scene.
Mm-hmm. What was that open sore? I said, oh no, not they done gave her something.
Or burned herself.
Or something. Or someone must have bust her in her mouth so bad, like it just split all up in here. Once you get a little cut right here, you ever cut your mouth with a chip or something? Yeah, I know.
You cracking yourself up, ain't you? You're taking yourself down.
this thing right here, when you get a cut right here, that shit hurt. Anyway. So she ate too many chips and it got. Right. But, I think with her appearance, like just how she was looking, her hair, the face, like she said she needed a shower. Baby knew she was struggling.
Mm-hmm. Even like she was trying to also sell Nikki's stuff. Try to steal her stuff off of her.
Not try. Yeah. She did. Yeah. She sold the necklace and the earrings that Holiday gave her, and the necklace that damn Silas gave her. Oh, baby. And then I felt so bad when Nikki said, maybe if people stop giving me stuff, then she'll stop stealing from me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That was sad.
But yes, all of those things were in to support her habit. There were the multiple attempts to try to stop using the substance, and it continuing, it impacting multiple levels of functioning. We see the increase, because I'm imagining that when Silas had to leave, he said, she done got us into some stuff, I need to go take care of some business. I'm assuming that she either like took the money or took the product and messed up his re-up or something along those lines. Right. And so then we're seeing increased tolerance, all of the criteria.
All of the things. Yeah. Yeah, that was, whew.
Yeah, that was a deep part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I just wanted better wigs for her. That's all I wanted, was better wigs.
Mm-hmm. And they kept getting stiff
too. Yeah, I was like, what is this? Why is it happening?
Even when she was sober, though, the wig wasn't great.
When she came over with that beige food. What you say is beige?
What was it though? I don't know. Like what did you put in? You made this.
It looked like some hamburger helper that needed some helping.
Needed a lot of help.
Needed a lot of help. Ooh, yeah. She tried. But Holiday said, I burn. So I'll be doing the cooking around here.
I
From
looked
here on
at
out, because don't you ever do this again.
right. And Nikki in the background looking like, I've been eating this all my life.
Poor Nikki.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
Poor Nikki. And I don't even think she was just so excited to have a bed, like just a room. There was no bed. She was just excited to have a room. And that said a lot about what she was dealing with, and with her mom and trying to be an adult. Like even how she talked to Holiday about, look, let me give you the 411 about my mama and what we going through and how I need you to help us.
Right.
How?
Yeah.
What? Okay. I guess I do have to help you.
That stuck out to me too when he was like, there's no bed. Like, I'll get a bed. She was like, we'll make a pallet on the floor.
And they did.
And they did. And they were comfortable. They were comfortable.
One thing, it seems like she was often just very grateful with whatever it was that she was given, though, in those situations, because she even talks about before her mom was using, she was saying, like, we never had a lot of money, but my mom, she was creative. We would go and we would spend all day in the library. Like some kids would be like, man, we was in the library all day. But she was like, we got to spend all day in the library. And then we would have a picnic. And she couldn't cook, but we would have a junk food fest. Like all of the things, whatever it was, she was just grateful for what it was that she had. And I wonder if that comes from that experience of lack, feeling that you don't have. So when you do get something, you're appreciative of whatever it is, because the monetary things didn't matter as much to her because she gave her the diamond necklace and said, here, just take it. And so what would you all diagnose? So there were so many instances for which, poor Nikki. My whole thing is a school counselor better check in when she first wrote that poem, because that poem, it won all these awards. So that just, don't just exploit this baby. Somebody help her.
Help her.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, help her.
She needed help and wasn't nobody paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like Holiday should be getting a check or something for her care, or something should be happening.
Yeah. Like as far as like the resources and just, with her losing her primary caregiver, what's the relationship like with her father? That was another part here that they don't make mention of him at all.
At all.
And so for two men to be like, yeah, we're her fathers that are not her fathers, it's like, what happened? What's the backstory with dad as well? So that comes to mind. But yeah, there were just so many things that could have gone. That's like if you look at it, like realistically, Holiday was a complete stranger that she got off the street to help her in a crisis.
Exactly.
Holiday could have had a Uzi.
Could
But he had a phone book, so. So for Nikki, what would be a good diagnosis for our friend Nikki?
Just all of the Z codes, the child neglect, the upbringing away from parents, the high expressed emotional level within family, just, oh baby, psychological abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh baby.
Definitely was high functioning depression.
Okay, so tell me more about the depression.
If you look at it, she knew she had to keep going, to support. She always knew she had to help her mom out, right? But inside, she was just so broken. And, even when you see her, when they were arguing on her Silas, the first thing that stuck out to me to point that out was just, when Silas and Wanda were arguing the first time, and it was so loud, and that's when Holiday and her weren't talking. And Holiday pulls up in his convertible and she's playing solitaire. So she's outside separating herself, but she's just so sad. Like you look at her and she's like so sad, but she's like hiding it, still going, even though she didn't talk to him. She didn't let her tears be shown. And like that was shown throughout the movie until like the small parts where she would break.
Yeah. I think the scene that sticks out for me is when Holiday gets her to go into the mirror and, try to do those positive affirmations with her, and then, breaking the mirror, right? And that was like a real depiction of like basically what you're describing, in that, I'm here, I'm present, but man, I really hate this. I hate me for having to deal with this and going through this. I wonder though, because she did have her period. So what about the behaviors as far as like her, having that moment, or even the where the young man came into the house, her just kind of being defiant in some ways, of just like, well, my mama ain't here and you not my daddy type of vibe. Like, would there have been a conduct? Could that have been a moment, or is that something that could be diagnosed?
I think that was a child appropriate moment. I don't think that we saw anything from her that was an inappropriate response to the circumstances that she was dealing with. And so to me, I felt like everything that she exhibited, the behaviors that she exhibited, the emotionality that was shown, was an appropriate reaction in response to the circumstances and the things that were going on in her life. I think that she actually was fairly well adjusted given the circumstances, given the situation that she was dealing with, because your mom is on crack, has left you with a stranger whom you really don't know. You don't know where your dad is. You guys don't have really solid resources. And the worst thing that you did was hook up with a boy.
Right. Yeah.
It's people out here hooking up with boys who both parents is home, and they have much less dire straits and circumstances. So I just felt like she was being a teenager.
When she ran away
looking for her mom.
Mm-hmm. She was just looking for her mom.
Yeah.
And that was just like, I think, so I wrote this down, and I don't know, maybe this will resonate too, kind of what we're talking about with Nikki. But I said, the lack of love will create a desire that will drive you to go against yourself, to feel that desire. And I felt like that was just both with Nikki and Wanda. Wanda's, in regards to her addiction, she wanted love so bad. She just couldn't accept what she was given. Like her daughter, who loved her despite everything. Like, despite everything. And I don't know if we can get personal on here. Can I get personal?
Yeah.
Okay. So like, I mean, so I have an alcoholic father, and he's done drugs as well. And, I know that I love my father, but like, if I've seen my father in those circumstances, in the way Nikki hugged her mother during her high moments, I don't think would be a way that I could just reach up and hug my father, in his disheveledness, same as Wanda. So I think she loved her so much that, Wanda went against went against herself to, feel the love that she already had. But Nikki understands, she did other things, such as like, I want to go find my mom. I want to go hook up with a boy to see what my mom is doing. She just went in different directions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it goes back to the lack we talked about.
Yeah. And I think the major theme that you pointed out from the beginning was just the expression of unconditional love. Mm-hmm. And there are lots of times where children, despite what circumstances it is that they experience with their parents, that unconditional love is never changing. And so I think that is something that has to be taken into regard as well. And just then, what does that mean if we're talking about like prognosis and what that looks like going forward for Nikki, now that her mom is gone and there is a different type of closure, a different type of ending, like a much more finality, I think is the word I'm looking for. Now that exists, what is you guys' prognosis for her going forward?
I think she's going to do, I think honestly, she has a great prognosis. Like it's excellent. I feel that with the two men in her life, I think they'll teach. Silas is going to keep her mindful of the street and the hood, because that's where she is, and she knows it, and she's a beautiful young lady. So he'll teach her the in and outs of, no, hey, don't get involved with this, and look, here's the telltale signs of a player like me, and she'll know, right? But then on the other hand, I feel like Holiday will allow her to continue to grow and express herself through her creativity and through art, with her poetry and writing. I feel like she's going to, for some reason, if I could make like a spinoff or even just add to that hypothetical like episodes or like set movie or sequel, seeing her actually take what her mom said she was going to do with those poems and put them in essence, right? And, you know, honoring her mom's wishes with that, or just taking her mother's work and creating something based off of that. I think that would be her prognosis. I would just see her as like this famous writer doing her storytelling and sharing her mom's story as well as hers.
I agree. I think that she's also going to do that. I think she is also going to tap into some form, and this might be in her career too, but counseling. She's going to do some form of like social work or counseling, and specifically with young girls. I think that's young girls and substance abuse. I do see her doing that.
So she's a famous writer with a nonprofit that targets women and girls and issues of related to substance use. But I also think that if working with her, if at some point she were to be my client because of all of those strengths, I think utilizing that creativity is something that would be very important. I think narrative therapy would be something that is kind of right up her alley and kind of telling the story. And I think that is a common thread throughout the film is Holiday saying everyone has a story to tell. That was something along the lines of what was written on Wanda's tombstone as well with her story. And it just seems like that is something that could be very helpful for her, and just continuing to be the author of her own story, and that empowering her to decide what her future will look like, because now all of that potential, there's no limits on that. You can do whatever it is that you want to going forward. And I am really excited for her. One thing that did come up, and Giselle, you had alluded to it a little bit earlier with the non-traditional families and what that looks like. And I wanted to hear you guys' thoughts, just kind of throw out the concept of, as professionals, we are trained, very basically, all generalists at some level are trained to do some level of family therapy. However, there isn't a lot of specific treatment modalities or training that is given that target non-traditional families. They are a family unit. This does not look like any family that you see in a textbook for family therapy. And I think that is one of the ways that we very much so have been whitewashed in how we are trained as professionals, because we know, like you said earlier, it takes a village. Sometimes the village needs to be included. Sometimes there is the village and not the parents. And so, like, what does that look like in family therapy? What does that look like when you are trying to utilize or build upon certain, of course, we have to alter or adapt any of the practices that we utilize as clinicians. Just kind of wanted to hear you guys' thoughts about utilizing like traditional family systems, or any of that stuff with a non-traditional family like we see in Holiday Heart.
That's a good question.
It's a really great question. So we're like, are we saying like if this family comes in, right? Holiday, Silas, and Nikki, they come in. I mean, at first it would just kind of seeing what each other's roles are in each other's life. You know, like Nikki, how do you view these two men in your life? And that will kind of start where the therapy can start. I don't know if that makes sense. Because I want to say start with the child, because that's kind of where I think is important to start, because that's kind of how transitions in life happen. You know, when you have kids, that's when life transitions, right? Silas and Holiday without Nikki probably would be living different lives. You know, they probably wouldn't even be together. So really figuring out, Nikki, how do you see Silas in your life? How do you see Holiday, and who are these two men in your life? And what does it mean? I think that's where we'll start.
I think for me, so I would definitely take more a systemic approach and trying to figure out, like, you know, what are the environmental factors that are contributing to this dynamic as well. Because it's hard to ignore that more than likely Silas's homophobia or just his thought process and understanding someone like Holiday, a queer Black man, like, you know, how would that dynamic show up, right? You know, how have they navigated that when they get into altercations and arguments? How are they dealing with that conflict, like as far as that hierarchy of who's more masculine than the other, or certain gender roles that exist in a traditional family, but now navigating that as a non-traditional family? Like, it's like, I think there are so many other things that I would kind of see and like want to pull in and figure those things out. And then, of course, you know, depending on what they're saying is their actual presenting problem. But of course, I would definitely hit the drawing board to figure out, because it's not my specialty. So, of course, figuring out what particular theory or modality or approach would be effective, taking into some of those, you know, cultural experiences that I listed, that, you know, being sensitive to those areas, because those are going to be important in how we determine conflict resolution and, you know, moving forward. So I don't want to ignore those things. And Nikki's story is definitely going to be a prominent part of it. But they have stories and backgrounds too. So trying to figure out how all of those come together would take several different approaches. And definitely a lot of consultation and supervision, because it isn't, you know, something that we're taught in our courses. And so there's going to be some research and guidance needed for that.
For sure.
I think that both of you guys bring up great points, and also just wanted to highlight another barrier that exists in us helping the people who actually want and would benefit from our services at all levels, is that we don't see ever any legal guardianship specifically granted to Holiday. And like, because Wanda was still functioning when she got her in school, and so she's enrolled, and so now she can just kind of carry forward. But as far as her coming in for treatment and services for one of us, if we are not embedded in the school, then we probably wouldn't even be able to see her as a client, because there is no one that could sign an informed consent just because of the legality of things. And so just also want to highlight additional barriers that do exist that we also have to navigate when we are trying to help those that want to be helped. And so, you know, while this show is always about entertainment and a good kiki, we are still revolutionaries. And so we just have to highlight, you know, the things that aren't always working in our favor when we are trying to do the jobs that we are assigned to do. And so on a much lighter note, I gave Silas a Z code of problems related to employment, because all of his problems resulted from him being a drug dealer. He would be so fine if he just wasn't a drug dealer. Like that. Yes, he has some character things in regards to him being homophobic and feeling that money could solve. He could just throw money at situations and he didn't have to be respectful to people. He could just pull guns on them and they had to listen to him. But I think all of that comes back to him being a drug dealer. And I feel like if he was able to do something other than that, if there weren't so many oppressive systems set up for him to have to resort to that practice in order for him to meet his financial goals, then he'd be fine.
I agree.
Oh, Dr. B, it looks like you don't feel the same way. Okay.
I mean, any other time we had a criminal, we would always give him that antisocial personality disorder.
But he can feel empathy. He cares about Nikki. He loves her. He feels empathy. He builds a relationship with Holiday, a familiar relationship with Holiday. Like he has all of those things.
I think he might have been that before, but Holiday and Nikki changed him.
You can't. No, that's not how personality disorder works.
That's how it works in Hollywood.
Now,
fair. All right, we can throw that away.
I don't want to cared about Wanda low key. Like he still cared about her. Like
he did.
Yeah.
All right. He was just a drug dealing. He didn't do it. He didn't do it, and he didn't want to lay with anyone that did it.
Mm-mm.
That's true.
Every man got to have a code now.
Mm-hmm. He did say that.
Code. Yeah.
I just sell it. I don't use it.
That's it.
Kid, I feel like that you have to be at some place to be able to deal with that dissonance that has to exist in your mind for you to become like, I know what this is doing to the world around me, but I'm still going to contribute to it, but I'm not going to do it. I just sell it. And so again, problems related to employment. If we could find him some other lucrative career, if he could be a car salesman or just anything, child.
He can be Nikki's manager.
He would do good. Ooh, that might be tough. Him and Holiday.
Managers.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Look at us fixing the world's problems.
Nikki's going to be great because all they care about is making sure that Nikki's good and that she's great. Right. So I think with them having that shared focus, they're going to just like pour her. It's going to put a little pressure on Nikki, but she's going to thrive with the two of them.
Holiday's going to be the stylist. Yeah.
Yes.
If Holiday like image consultant, like responsible for all of that, and then also helping run the foundation that is caring for the young women and girls. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I will say maybe because the way Holiday is stuck, right? Holiday is stuck in the past. Okay, Holiday was like, I'm not going. I marched with Martin Luther King. I'm not going to march with them gay people. Like,
he did say that.
He had a certain level of class, decorum about himself.
That's what he said. I do it in private.
But he also acknowledged like the context, like the times where you had to keep a certain distance between, like that was something that you did. Even in his day-to-day life, he was a landlord and sang at the church. And then in his nightlife, he got to be Holiday Hart, who performed and, did all of the other things. But in his day-to-day, he very much so was male presenting. And so that was something I think that he is speaking to the times, he's speaking to the change, he's speaking to kind of just the zeitgeist of the time that he grew up in and how times are definitely changing. I think that when we first meet Holiday, I think he is dealing with some complicated bereavement. But I think that his relationship with Wanda and Nikki gives him a renewed sense of purpose. It gives him a much more reason to tap into the present moment. And that helps him kind of work through all of what he has going on and getting to see what future can be, and that you don't have to go to, like, Paris isn't the only option for you to be happy again. And while it's a beautiful trip and yes, you should go, that's not the only way that you can kind of experience love and joy again. And I think that we see him kind of work through that with his relationship with them. What say you all? Did you diagnose Holiday with anything else?
I think that, the bereavement was definitely fitting for him. I mean, for her. What would be Holiday?
Holiday presented as him.
As him. Okay. Yeah, because when Nikki said man, he was like, I'm a man. What you trying to say? Yes. Okay. So diagnosis, I feel complicated bereavement. I don't think I have another one. Religious and spiritual problem. I mean, would be.
Was it a problem? It's what got him through. Because like he said, when he finally told his story was very bleak. And I think it definitely sounded like his spirituality is what kind of got him through and got him to a place where he could love himself and love how he was made and love who he was. And I think that was something that was very helping for him.
I think the spiritual part is just like the duality of having to continue to be closeted. And even though
not closet, a closet, the door is closed. He said he very much so is out in the open. He said his doors is open. He said he ain't in nobody's closet.
Well, in his eulogy, he did say that he can see why he was kept in the crack corner of.
Because that man was in the closet. He wasn't in the closet. Fletcher, whatever his name was in the closet.
Yeah, Fletcher was in the closet. Okay, you're right. You're right. Holiday
said, no,
that
baby.
was one thing to allow himself to live. I mean, allow himself to live out loud, like basically, and to love who he wanted to love. So yeah, I don't think there was anything else that stands out. I mean, the grief for sure. I think another scene when Nikki runs to Blue and Holiday, And I know the scene where Blue calls and it's like, girl, I've been trying to get in contact with you. Where you been? Mm-hmm. And the concern of like, of where she was and how she was, or not, I keep saying she, how he was doing was because of at that time, especially even still transgendered men and women are, you know, targeted a lot more. And so just like that constant fear of like checking in and making sure that they're okay. Right. Because it was like, you could have got seriously hurt. Like Holiday could have definitely gotten hurt. And so the sound that of fear in Blue's heart rang different for me than just, hey, did you get that guy? But more so like anything could have happened to you. And we've lost too many of us to that type of stuff. So, right. Yeah.
That's also the first thing Blue says when he walks in after Silas leaves out. Like, did he hurt you? You're okay? You're gonna be okay. Like you're fine. It's just checking in physically. I don't think that. Well, first, I guess it's not my place. I don't know. I don't get to say, but I didn't perceive Holiday as trans. He just does drag.
Well, no, not. I'm just saying like. Drag and trans, or just men in the LGBT queer men, are more likely to be targeted for violence just based off of how they look. Brothers. Yeah, like, you know, or dressing in like a man that's appearing to be dressing in women's clothing. Then it's just like it's not even a question of you being a drag or trans. You look like So now I'm about to mess with you because of that, you know. And I feel like when you're out there and you're targeted like that at that time of night and that type of situation, oh my goodness, like he cared about Nikki, and for him to show up despite those things. And you saw Blue did not stick around to fuck around to find out.
Blue had already left. Blue left first, and then all the other girls. Yeah. I guess they went and told Blue because y'all didn't help. Like, didn't nobody trick or treat with Silas. They just
they don't want them type of problems.
Peace out quick. They did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's rough. But that is one thing that I did appreciate about Blue. I felt like Blue was the voice of reason throughout the entire film, because even when Holiday was kind of very reactionary about some of the stuff that was going on with Nikki, Blue was like, come on now. And able to like talk Holiday down and just kind of put things back into context and kind of explain it in a way that was very sound. And I just appreciated having Blue there. And I just also just appreciate the film, especially it being 2000, them having this film and creating the film talking about individuals that are doing drag and chosen family and what that looks like, because it's always been around.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's one thing I think that we give a lot of praise and credit to Robert Townsend and, you know, the Marlins, like family is because
the Marlins, because it's just him. It's him and his children. Is that what you? Okay.
Just shut up. The Wayans brothers.
Wayans family.
The family. Mm-hmm. So the thing about the Wayans family and with Robert Townsend is that they were really ahead of its time, and you know, to a certain extent, but they also were the reason. They kind of paved the way. They opened the door for other, like, you know, types of films and just an understanding and appreciation of it. I think if it came out today, would it be as celebrated? I think it would. I think it would actually be very fitting if it actually was to come out again now. And I think it would come out as a series on Netflix.
Mm-hmm. I do think it would be appreciated. I definitely see a series though. But it would definitely, it actually really might be, it really will probably do really great in this time, to be honest.
I think so. Ooh, it would do so good.
It would be like Black Modern Family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Holiday's outfits, his pastels was very much giving the the dads on Modern Family.
Oh my gosh, the fits were they were, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll stay done.
Yeah, Holiday was clean.
Yeah, how he was
very.
Mm-hmm. The hairline was starting to recede. Okay, so prognosis wise, I want love for Holiday as well. Not just the love from Nikki and the familiar love from Silas. I want love for Holiday so that he could have that after Fletcher as well. And so with this being such a star-studded cast with Alfred Whitter, Ving Rhames, Michael T. Williamson, just a great cast of characters. Who would y'all cast in our imaginary series as the person that comes back to remind Holiday that they can have love too? Who would be Holiday's love interest in our imaginary world?
Oh God. I know you know how bad I am at actors and actresses, and I barely know people's names. That's it.
Let's see. Yeah, me too. I'm the same. Let me see.
Good chat.
They might not get along though.
Well, they don't have to.
I was gonna say, it might be a little too young for Holiday though. But young love is good.
Holiday was good cougar.
Yeah, right. Have y'all seen Beauty in Black?
Oh, yeah. But see, I think the big buff one, the lawyer.
Yeah,
Holiday. Yeah, had Fletcher.
At first I was like the brother, but I was like, no, he's too wild. But the lawyer, yeah,
classy button up man, yeah, that'd be right his speed.
Funny.
And he's not in the closet. He wouldn't be. Well, he is.
But he's also okay with being open given the circumstance.
Right.
And I think that was, and I just on a separate note, I know that Holiday was grief stricken, was very upset at the funeral, but I don't care if you the partner or not. If you singing that bad at a service, I'm cutting the mic. You get off the stage.
Yeah, no. What was that?
You got to go because Holiday. We know you can carry a tune, but you weren't doing it at the service. So that's why they wasn't. I don't know how much of it was because you was his partner, or how much of it because you was singing terribly. You just had to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, "Ooh, baby, go ahead, get yourself together."
You know, it was the 2000s. They don't cut the mic. They didn't cut the mic.
That's how you know it. Was it weird that she kept all of Fletcher's things like that?
That's why I said complicated bereavement. I felt like it was Holiday really just couldn't get past the loss of the love of their life. And it just was, they were stuck in that place. And so that is why I think that Wanda, the experience in the relationship, the love, the family that is built with Wanda and Nikki helped Holiday kind of grow through.
Yeah. Right. And he got the new house with him and Nikki. Yeah.
And now that's their house instead of them living in the house that Fletcher got for himself and Holiday.
Yeah.
And so now that we have, fixed all of their woes, we have a wonderful career for Nikki. We have Holiday serving as the kind of COO of her organization. Silas is the manager, kind of handling the business operations. Any other final thoughts about the film before we wrap up?
I think we hit it. Like, I really enjoyed this. It's just reflecting over it. I definitely do. But I think it should come back modern day. They're bringing a lot of shows back and movies. They should try this one.
Because there aren't a lot of original ideas in Hollywood anymore.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, this would be a good, rewind. Yeah.
So whatever streaming service wants to pick this up, just make sure y'all give us our 10% for, kind of laying out what things would look like going forward, kind of giving, the pilot for things. And Giselle, can you please tell the people, the listeners, the wonderful friends of ours and cinephiles more about you and how they can follow you, get in touch with you, just link with all of the wonderful things that you have going on?
Right. So I am, like we said in the beginning, a social worker. I'm also a fitness enthusiast. I do have my personal training certification. I just came out with 2 books, one on just staying consistent, whole body, consistent in your mind, body, and soul. So that is on Amazon, along with a fitness journal that you complete for 30 days. It's not your regular fitness journal. It does have aspects of regular tracking, but then there's prompts in there to meet the mental and the emotional side, so you can stay consistent whole body throughout those 30 days and start your journey. Also, I do have a podcast on a journey with Giselle, where I'm just talking about different fitness and wellness things to help you become your best self, not specifically like what to eat and how to work out. Those are more my shorts and my reels, but really just about being intentional, being consistent, and how you might struggle. Like, I'm on a journey of healing and being stuck right now. We talk through all the things and just be real. So that's found on YouTube. And then my Instagram is @OnAJourneyWithG. So definitely make sure you follow me on that. Like to drop a good Monday motivation, Wednesday pick me up, and Friday, reflection. So definitely check me out on that. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. And I'm so glad I had the opportunity to jump on and be a part of the show.
Thanks again for joining us. Exciting.
Thank you.
You got any final thoughts, ma'am?
Well, this was a sad one, but it was a good one. It does leave on a good note. Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited to see what Nikki does and when she becomes a warrior woman.
Warrior woman! If you would like to support the show to help us get more content out to you all, you can visit our website and follow the Support the Show link to become a Patreon member or donate on our Cash App. Now, we're happy to get the kind of money that jingles. We would rather the kind that folds. As always, be sure to follow us on Instagram @DSM Podcast, and you can subscribe to our show wherever you get podcasts. While you're there, go ahead and leave us a comment because we are counselors and we actually care about what you have to say. Until next time, y'all, peace.
Okay, bye, you cinephiles.